Do you feel shame as a stay-at-home mom? After I had my first daughter, I went on my maternity leave and I had every intention of going back to work until I brought her home from the hospital. And there was no way I was going back to work. I was the only one in my friend group with a baby. Everybody was career focused, and it seemed so out of normalcy to stay home with your babies. I had a daycare lined up. I was ready to go until I just felt the pull that I needed to stay home. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of internal shame or just because as a society we don't value the work that is done in the home and the work that is done staying home to raise children. I felt this shame that I needed to have a good reason to stay home with my kids. So I would tell people, I'd say, oh, it's just because if I sent my kids to daycare, it would be a wash in terms of our income. We're saving so much money by me staying home. And while those are totally valid reasons for staying home, they weren't the reason why I wanted to stay home. The real reason was we found that it was valuable for us to have somebody home with the girls at all times. If we were going to be paying somebody to raise our daughters, then why wouldn't it be one of us? My husband and I both had stay-at-home moms as our mothers growing up, and seeing the value we saw in that in our adult lives is something that really cannot be replaced. And I know not everybody's circumstances are the same and everybody's value systems aren't the same, but for us in our home, we found that this is really what we wanted for us and our family. And I felt so bad leaving my job and telling them, hey, I'm actually not coming back after this maternity leave. And I thought that they were going to resent me and think I was just this lazy, terrible person. But guess what? They replaced me in the span of 2 weeks. What wasn't going to be replaceable was the time spent at home with our girls. But for the first few months as a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker, I felt lost and I felt shame and I felt as though I am not contributing to society in the way that I should. But I'm sure you've heard this, but if you are paying somebody to watch your kids, if you're paying somebody to clean your home, if you pay somebody to make your food, those are valuable. Why are you not valuing them when you do them? Why do we not have any issue with us submitting ourselves to our bosses and our companies? But for whatever reason, when it comes to submitting ourselves to our home and to our spouses and to our children and to God, it's not something that is viewed as a liberating thing. And I don't want to come off like I'm saying you have to be a stay-at-home mom, or if you do go to work, you're not living within the way that you need to be living. But if this is something that you do want, or if this is something that you are doing for your family, but you feel shame or you feel like you're not being valued in society because you're not being paid for your labor, I really want to implore you to look at the work that you're doing a little bit differently. This week, both of my girls had fevers. We were basically out from Tuesday until Sunday, and we stayed home all week. And I had a conversation with my husband this morning saying one of us would have had to have taken an entire week off of work to stay home with our girls, because we would not have been able to send them to daycare. And it would have been who would be getting the least in trouble at work to be able to stay home with our kids. What an amazing blessing it is that we're able to do that. And I know not everybody even can do that. And if you have kids, a kid is under your care until they're 18. And then they have the entire rest of their life to live. These are the years that we get with them. This is the time that we get with them. And this is not wasted time spending with them and raising them. This is the work that we do. Now, when people ask me, what do you do for work? I tell them I'm a stay-at-home mom. And when they say, do you like it? Or what made you decide to do that? I tell them, this is important for us. this is the way that we wanted to do our family. It's important for us to be with our kids as much as possible. And I have no shame behind that anymore. And I implore you to really, one, think about the reasons why you stay at home with your kids. Because maybe it did start out as a financial decision and then it turned into something more as you did it. Really, truly trying to find your reasons as to why you stay at home and why you find it important to be with your kids and to take care of your home and be the lifeblood and heartbeat in your home, creating life and a space that is safe for your children and for your husband and for yourself and for others. This is truly, as a stay-at-home mom, I really have been able to explore what it really means to be a village for others. I have so many different opportunities to serve people out, even just outside of my home, because of the flexibility I have as a stay-at-home mom. This is truly like the greatest job I've ever had. And it's one of the most thankless, but also the most rewarding job I've ever had. And I definitely want to talk more about treating being a stay-at-home mom as a job, but you really have to start with having pride in what you do, just with any job. And you should have pride in being a stay-at-home mom.